Howdy mates, good morning. Here's the first video I wanted to make for today. So, we're actually over at the Corkscrew Nature Sanctuary, which is roughly in the part of the Everglades in South Florida. So we're down by, kind of in between Naples and Fort Myers, approximately. But Corkscrew Nature Sanctuary is well known to have an old growth forest network of bald cypress trees, which can age up to 500 years old. That's one of the main prominent features here. And you can only imagine how many stories that these trees have probably seen. We're not quite at the old bald cypress trees yet, but this boardwalk that I'm walking on is about close to 2.5 miles, approximately. Maybe a little less. But these are some of the younger bald cypress, so we still haven't really gotten into the heart of it yet. But the purpose of this video was just to point out a couple of different plants that I noticed along the way. So here, we've got ourselves the pond apple right here. And you may be thinking, like, are they related to the other apples? You know, like Honeycrisp, Gala, Fuji. Well, as it turns out, they really aren't. They're kind of like their own thing, sort of. But they actually are indeed edible, but the flavor is very bitter. So it's just a thing you want to make sure that you prepare it properly. And I literally noticed just now that we have an eastern lubber grasshopper. These guys are actually native, these fellow homies right here. Wow, he was right in front of my face and I did not even notice him right away. Are you kidding me? This is awesome. But yeah, that is the pond apple for you. And they do have these leaves that are kind of glossy. That kind of reminds you of looking at something of a mangrove. So then the next thing that I wanted to point out was the alligator flag, which is down here, that has those shaped leaves right here. So they call it alligator flag because back in the day when alligator hunters were out here, this was a plant that they commonly stumbled upon. And what's fascinating too is this plant was used by the Calusa and the Seminole Indians back in the day. They would use these leaves as a means of, say, a bowl, for example, for food. So that's how it really gets its name. So you could say it's almost like a skunk cabbage equivalent in the South. But then here is a really cool plant. See that guy right there with the red flowers? Well, that is actually your famous Swamp Hibiscus, which is commonly mistaken for marijuana. Because if you look at their leaves very closely, right up here, kind of reminds you of looking at the devil's lettuce. Rest assured though, it is not the same thing. It's a totally separate plant. And it's commonly distinguished too by having sort of a reddish stem along it. But that is the Swamp Hibiscus. But then, we've also got ourselves some elderberry. These ones in particular are not quite ripe yet, but I believe just a moment ago I did see some ripe elderberry. Yeah, right here. Here we go. There's some ripe elderberry right there. Here's the thing. It is edible, but you have to make sure that it's boiled properly. Because if you have it raw, it is completely poisonous, not safe for consumption. But if it's boiled, you can actually make like an elderberry jam or soup out of it. But that's the big key thing, is it has to be boiled. so that any of the toxins that might be in it are drawn out, so to speak. But yeah, that's the famous elderberry. So there's a lot here. But, so, yep, there's another eastern lubber grasshopper. Wow. I am, like, loving this place already. And, like, you know, for those of you who aren't, like, a big fan of boardwalk trails, rest assured you should not underestimate this trail. Because already in this video, there's so many natural features that I've already seen in it. So, I mean, never underestimate a nature preserve. You never know what might be here. But yeah, there's another example of that swamp hibiscus. Oh man, this is awesome. It's alright, mates. That's all I have for right now at the moment, but there will be a bit more. So, take care, you guys, and I hope you got something out of the video. And once again, Journey on a Journey is outwards. Take care, folks.